Picture this. It's November 1944, somewhere along the French-German border. A military convoy from the Supreme Headquarters Allied Expeditionary Force is rolling toward the front lines. Inside the lead vehicle, General Dwight D. Eisenhower himself going through battle reports. As they approach a checkpoint, military police wave them forward, but suddenly they're forced to stop. There's a beat-up old Jeep blocking the entire road. This thing is covered head to toe in mud. No identification marks. No flags, nothing, just one filthy vehicle that's clearly seen better days. Sitting in the passenger seat is some older guy wearing a dirt-caked field jacket. You can't even see his rank. His helmet looks like it's been through a war zone. His entire uniform is so plastered with mud and dirt that you literally can't tell if this guy is an officer or just a regular soldier. And he's arguing with a military policeman who's desperately trying to move him along. "Sir, you need to move." "General Eisenhower's convoy is about to come through," the MP says firmly. The muddy soldier doesn't even flinch. "I don't care who's coming. I'm waiting right here for my tank commander. He's meeting me at this spot." Eisenhower's driver pulls up next to them. "Sir, want me to tell them to get out of the way?" Eisenhower stares at this filthy soldier blocking his path. Something about the guy feels strangely familiar, but he just can't put his finger on it. "Who is that person?" Eisenhower asks. "No clue, sir. Just some officer refusing to budge." The MP is getting more frustrated by the second. "Sir, I'm ordering you must move right now. This is a priority convoy." "And I'm telling you that I'm waiting for—" Then the muddy officer glances over and locks eyes with Eisenhower's vehicle. Their gazes meet. The dirty officer breaks into a massive grin. "Ike, what the hell are you doing way out here?" Eisenhower just stares, that voice, that grin. That complete and total disrespect for military protocol. "George?" Eisenhower asks, barely believing his own words. "Of course it's me." "Who else would it be?" Eisenhower's aide literally gasps. "Sir ... That's General Patton?" "Apparently so," Eisenhower says, still trying to process what he's seeing. The MP who'd been shouting at Patton. His face goes completely white. Oh my God. I've been yelling at General Patton." Patton just waves it off like it's nothing. "You were doing your job? Good man." Then he turns back to Eisenhower. "You got some time? I can take you to see the real front lines, not the cleaned-up version headquarters always shows you." This is the incredible true story of how Eisenhower and other top Allied commanders kept running into Patton at the front, and didn't recognize him because he looked more like a homeless supply sergeant than a three-star general. And here's the kicker, Patton did it on purpose. Section 1. The two faces of Patton. Patton had two completely different uniforms for two totally different purposes. Think about it. They couldn't be more opposite. For parades and official ceremonies, he wore a spotless dress uniform, every single medal positioned perfectly. Boots shined until you could see your reflection. Those famous pearl-handled revolvers gleaming in the light, a riding crop in his hand, and a helmet with 3 stars displayed front and center for everyone to see. But for frontline reconnaissance, completely different story. A plain field jacket, 0 insignia. A standard issue helmet, usually dented and banged up. Combat boots absolutely caked in mud. No visible rank whatsoever. No medals, no identification of any kind. Sometimes he wouldn't even wear a helmet, just a regular knit cap. Patton explained it to his staff like this. "When I want soldiers to see me, I dress like a general. When I want to see the front without getting my head blown off, I dress like a supply sergeant." And honestly, his logic makes perfect sense. A general in full fancy uniform is basically a walking target. German snipers specifically trained to hunt down officers. Wearing obvious rank insignia at the front is basically asking to get killed. But here's where Patton took it to another level. He didn't just hide his rank, he deliberately made himself look shabby, dirty, completely anonymous. "Why do that?" his aide once asked. "Because when I look like everybody else, people tell me the truth," Patton answered. "If they know I'm a general, they tell me what they think I want to hear. If they think I'm just some random major, they tell me what's actually happening out there." Section 2. The time Bradley didn't recognize him, October 1944, near Metz, France. General Omar Bradley is visiting Third Army positions. He gets driven to a forward observation post to check out German positions across the river. When he arrives, he finds several officers studying the enemy lines through binoculars. Among them is this one guy in an absolutely filthy uniform who has been drawing detailed sketches of German positions. "Good work," Bradley tells the sketching officer, assuming he's some intelligence lieutenant. "Your reconnaissance is excellent." "Thanks, Brad," the officer replies without even looking up. Bradley freezes solid, that voice. He turns to look at the man properly. Despite all the dirt and the complete lack of insignia, he recognizes that profile. George ... "What the hell are you doing here?" Patton finally looks up. "Reconnaissance." "Same as your boys, except I'm better at it?" "You're the Third Army commander. You shouldn't be at a forward observation post that's within German artillery range. How else am I supposed to know what the Germans are actually doing?" Patton asks like it's the most obvious thing in the world. "Intelligence reports? Those are always 12 hours old by the time I get them. I need current information. You have staff officers for that exact purpose." "Staff officers tell me what they think I want to hear," Patton shoots back. "I come up here myself and see the truth." Bradley notices that Patton's sketches aren't just random drawings. They're incredibly detailed tactical maps. German machine gun positions. Artillery locations, probable command posts all marked precisely. "You drew all of this yourself? Who else would do it?" Patton says, "Brad, you want to know why Third Army moves faster than everyone else? It's because I know the terrain. I know exactly where the Germans are. I don't rely on second-hand information." Bradley can't argue with those results, but he's still frustrated. "George, if you get killed up here, then I die doing my job," Patton interrupts. "Better than dying behind some desk." After Bradley leaves, Patton's aide asks him, "Sir, why didn't you tell General Bradley you were here before he showed up?" "Because then he would have ordered me to leave before I finished my reconnaissance," Patton replies. "This way I got my information and he got his lecture." Everybody's happy. Section 3. The German Sniper Incident, December 1944, near Saarbrücken. Patton's conducting reconnaissance close to German lines when suddenly a sniper opens fire. Bullets are snapping through the air all around them. His driver immediately hits the ground. "Sir, get down!" Patton doesn't move an inch. He just stands there looking toward where the shots came from. "Sir, you're going to get yourself killed." "He's not aiming at me," Patton says, completely calm. "He's aiming at the Jeep. He thinks we're a supply detail." "Sir, that doesn't mean—" Another shot rings out. This one's so close that Patton actually feels the pressure wave pass by his head. "Okay, that one was aimed at me," Patton admits. He dives behind the Jeep. The sniper fires several more rounds, then suddenly stops. "Why isn't he firing anymore?" the driver asks. "Because he can't figure out who we are," Patton replies. "We're not dressed like officers. We're not acting like supply troops. We're just two random Americans in a dirty Jeep." He's confused. They wait 5 full minutes. "No more shots. Let's go," Patton says. But slowly. "Don't do anything that looks like we're retreating." They climb back in the Jeep and drive away casually, like being shot at was just a minor inconvenience. Later, when they're safely back at headquarters, the driver asks a question. "Sir, you deliberately don't wear rank insignia at the front. Is it because of snipers?" "Partly," Patton admits. "German snipers hunt for officers. Stars on your helmet make you a prime target. But mostly, I do it so I can move around freely without everyone treating me like visiting royalty." "You want to be anonymous?" "I want to be useful," Patton corrects him. "Can't learn anything if everyone's putting on a performance for the general. But if they think I'm just another officer doing reconnaissance, they act natural. I see the real situation." Section 4. A Soldier's Letter Home. Private First Class David Richards writes home in January 1945. "Dear Mom, something really weird happened yesterday. We were sitting in our foxhole, absolutely freezing, complaining about everything like soldiers do, when this older guy walked up. He was covered in mud, looked like he'd been fighting for weeks straight. No rank anywhere on his uniform. We figured he was probably a captain or maybe a major. He sat down right there with us and asked how we were doing. We told him the honest truth. We're cold, we're tired, we're scared, and you know what? He just listened, didn't feed us any garbage about duty or courage. He just listened. Then he started asking about our equipment, our ammunition, our supplies. We told him everything we needed. He wrote it all down in a little notebook. He was about to leave when Jimmy asked him, "What's your name?" The guy just grinned and said, "Patton." "Mom, we've been complaining directly to Patton for 20 straight minutes." The commanding general of the entire Third Army. And we had absolutely no idea because he looked exactly like one of us. After he left, our lieutenant came by and asked what Patton wanted. We told him. The very next day, we got everything we'd asked for: ammunition, cold weather gear, better rations. Patton actually remembered. He came all the way to the front, listened to regular soldiers complain, and then fixed our problems. Now, I completely understand why guys in Third Army would follow him literally anywhere. He doesn't just command from some safe headquarters, he comes to us, lives with us. Sees exactly what we see. I've stopped complaining about the cold. If Patton can sleep in foxholes at 59 years old, I can definitely do it at 22. Your son, David. That letter represents dozens of similar ones found in military archives. Soldiers would encounter Patton at the front, not recognize him, complain directly to him, and then be absolutely shocked when they realized who he was. And here's what's consistent. They all report that Patton fixed their problems within days. Section 5. The Photographer's Orders. War photographers covering Third Army had standing orders from Patton's staff. When you see the general at the front, don't take pictures. Why not? One photographer asked. Because if Germans see photographs of Patton at the front, they'll know what he actually looks like when he's conducting reconnaissance. Right now, they think he's always in that dress uniform with stars on his helmet. We want to keep it that way. The photographers followed orders. All those famous photos of Patton, the gleaming helmet, perfect uniform, pearl-handled revolvers, those are all from headquarters or official events. The unofficial photos? Patton in muddy fields, sleeping in foxholes? Walking the front lines, those were rarely published during the war. One photographer did manage to capture Patton at the front, dressed in his anonymous reconnaissance gear. The photo shows him looking absolutely nothing like his public image. Dirty, exhausted, looking like any other worn-out officer. That photo was immediately classified and not released until after the war ended. Why classify it? Someone asked. Because Patton's survival depends on Germans not recognizing him at the front, an intelligence officer explained. Right now, German snipers are hunting for a general in a fancy uniform. If they realize Patton looks like a muddy supply officer when he's at the front, they'd kill him within a week. Section 6. The Surrender March 1945, somewhere in Germany. Patton's walking through recently captured territory, alone except for his driver, both wearing plain uniforms with no identification. They suddenly encounter German soldiers who haven't gotten word about the surrender yet. The Germans raise their weapons. Patton doesn't raise his. He just stands there, hands visible, looking completely unconcerned. "Americans?" one German asks in broken English. "Yes," Patton replies. "Officers?" "Yes." The Germans lower their weapons slightly. They're clearly looking for an excuse to surrender. The war is obviously lost. But surrendering to just random Americans feels embarrassing. "What rank?" the German asks. Patton considers lying for a moment, saying he's a major or colonel, but something makes him tell the complete truth. "General, Third Army." The Germans' eyes go wide. They know that name. Everyone knows Patton. "You are ... Patton?" "Yes." For one tense moment, nobody moves. The Germans could easily shoot. They're close enough that they couldn't possibly miss. Then the German soldier lowers his weapon completely. "We surrender." To Patton is ... Donner. They lay down all their weapons. Patton's driver, who's been holding his breath this entire time, finally exhales. "Sir," he says after the Germans are secured, "you could have been killed." "Maybe," Patton says. "But if I'd lied about my rank and they found out later, they might have felt deceived and attacked anyway. Telling the truth gave them a reason to surrender with honor." "That's one hell of a gamble, sir." "War is gambling," Patton replies. "I just bet on honesty this time." Section 7. Why he did it after the war. Historians and fellow officers kept asking Patton's staff the same question. Why did he deliberately make himself anonymous at the front? The answers varied depending on who you asked. General Gay, Patton's chief of staff, he wanted to see reality, not a performance. Soldiers behave completely differently when they know a general is watching. By looking like everyone else, Patton saw the truth. Colonel Koch, intelligence officer, reconnaissance. Patton trusted his own observations more than any report that crossed his desk. By going to the front himself, he gathered intelligence that no staff officer could ever provide. Sergeant Mims, Patton's driver, he genuinely cared about those soldiers. He wanted to see exactly what they were experiencing, what they needed, what problems they were facing every single day. He couldn't do that from a headquarters building. Patton's own explanation, written in his personal diary. A general who doesn't know what his soldiers are experiencing is a general who will make mistakes that cost lives. I go to the front not because I'm brave, but because I'm responsible. These men fight because I order them to. The absolute least I can do is understand what I'm asking of them. Closing throughout all of World War II, Dwight Eisenhower and dozens of other senior officers kept encountering George S. Patton at the front lines and didn't recognize him. Why? Because Patton deliberately dressed like nobody special. Like a supply officer who'd been stuck in the field way too long. Like someone who was definitely not a 3-star general. "Sir, that is Patton," became a common phrase when officers encountered some muddy, anonymous American who turned out to be Third Army's commander. So why did he do it? To survive, generals in full uniform attract snipers like magnets. To learn, soldiers tell the truth to anonymous officers, not to generals. To lead, you can't command what you don't understand. And maybe, just maybe, because Patton genuinely believed that a general belongs with his soldiers, not safely behind them. "I'd rather die in a foxhole with my men than live safely in a headquarters," Patton once wrote. A commander who won't share his soldiers' danger isn't fit to command. He meant every single word. For 4 years of brutal war, Patton lived at the front. Slept in foxholes. Walked under fire, drove through enemy territory. All while dressed like nobody important. That can't be Patton, people said over and over again, but it was, every single time. The general who looked like a homeless soldier, who dressed like a supply sergeant, who walked alone through danger zones, who commanded not from some throne, but from a muddy jeep at the actual front lines. Sir, that is Patton. That one sentence summed up the most unique command style of World War II, a 3-star general who deliberately made himself anonymous, so he could do his job better. And so he could live and die, if necessary, right alongside the soldiers who trusted him with their lives.